Hi guys and welcome back to Football Manager 2018 here with Rangers. We're going to the Falkirk Stadium just now to take on third place Falkirk. High flying Falkirk, by the way, doing very well this season. They're actually top on goal difference here. They've got 23, we only, pardon me, have 20 and Celtic only have 18 there. So Falkirk are actually doing the best in the way of goal difference. I think most of that comes from goals scored. Yeah, they've got 41 goals scored, only conceded 18. They've actually conceded less than us and scored more than us and Celtic. They've scored 12 goals more than Celtic. So they're in great form, Falkirk. We've beaten them 5 times and they've beaten us once, but I think whenever we go full strength we have beaten them. Sam Byron will be coming out in the side today. He'll be replaced by Jordan Houston, who kind of can't play right back anymore because he's transitioned really into being a winger or a wing back, but we're going to just throw him in there at right back today because I think he is the best. But well, Manuel Riedel can actually do it better than him, so we'll bring Murray Wallace in and throw Riedel wide right, and we'll go that way because, as I say, Jordan Houston really can't do right back anymore and he is not really ready to play the game. So we're going to do that. We're going to bring Cataldi back into the squad. Tim Gallagher can drop back there. I think we're going to go like this against them. We're going to go Fulton, Riedel, Wallace, Denswell, Borthwick, Jackson, McGinn, Jonas, Podence, Henderson, Horta and Morelos. We're going to play Horta on the left hand side. He's still 4 stars there and he did boss the game when he played there before. 6-0 over Dundee in our last game. So free flowing attacking football. We might leave ourselves open at the back to Falkirk's free-flowing attack in football, but hopefully we just have too much and we'll overpower them. So here we go. Yeah, I'm going to tell them to pick up. Go carry on straight on from where you left off. That's 6-0, a fantastic result over Dundee. Hopefully we can carry that form on against Falkirk here and against Celtic, of course, in the next game. The Old Firm game is the second game of this episode. So 5 minutes in, Boss in possession. Here we have the corner after 6. It's whipped in. It's Denswell with a header. It is 1-0 already to Rangers. Praise to the squad for that one. Great header from Denswell. Poor marking from Falkirk. Their great defensive record not doing much for them there as Horta gets another assist to his name and Stefano Denswell scores the goal, which actually will take us above Celtic momentarily. You'd imagine they'll win their game at home, I believe, to St Johnstone, who are second bottom. Is that right? No, they're home to Hamilton. Where are Hamilton? Hamilton, they're up about 6th, Hamilton. Andre Horta's injured and has to come off. Akram Afif will come on to play on the left-hand side. Not a bad replacement at all. But it is a shame if Horta's going to miss the Celtic game, which he might do now. Borthwick, Jackson, Jonas, though. Afif to Henderson. Hopefully Afif can encourage us today. Morelos, McGinn, he's got the option. Wide and Podence, he goes for goal. It's a poor decision from John McGinn. Podence is actually in good form now for the first time in his Rangers career, so rolling it wide to him would have been the better option there. Wallace away now, Riedel on the break. He's obviously got previous at breaking forward with the ball, Manuel Riedel. Of course, the goal against CSK Moscow, what I'm referring to there. Afif, he tried to find Podence. It was actually a great piece of defending. Now Sibbald over the top for Naismith. Riedel's not going to get back in time. They're queuing up. Hits it in early. The shot's there, and it's Kevin O'Hara. It is 1 apiece. And that's what I feared. Was considering going to the 3 at the back when we actually went 1-0 up to try and stop them getting forward, but we've just been suckered there. Really unfortunately, Afif made the poor decision to try and switch it to Podence when it wasn't on. The defender did really well to get back, and obviously we've been hit there on the break. McGinn now into Jonas. That's it, take our time, don't feel like we need to rush here. Henderson losing it to Byers. Now here's Sibbald and Mane forward to O'Hara, running at is there. O'Hara slips it into Manny, who's in, and it's a quick 1-2 from Falkirk. What the hell is going on here? Push forward, come on. We've kicked off, had the ball stolen from us. We've completely bent over for them there. Terrible defending. And Riedel and Borthwick Jackson have been shocking. Riedel clearly doesn't like to be the right back there. I wish I'd have just went with Jordan Houston now. And they are salting the wounds. Celtic 1 up against Hamilton. And from taking the early lead, we're going in here 2-1 down at half time. Not good enough, to say the least, as Tielemans doubles Celtic's lead. This will put them 4 points clear of us. We will need to beat them at Ibrox if we don't manage to come back and beat Falkirk here. Into the dressing room, absolutely going through them here. Where is your passion? This has been a shocking display. Podence with a 6.3 just seems incapable of stringing together any sort of consistency. Right, show some passion here, boys. Jordan Houston not exactly ready for a return to action, but we need to go with somebody because Podence has been woeful again. And they just don't seem up for it this season in the league. I mean, there you go. We've won 12 games, drawn 6 and lost 2. So we've got 8 games there we've failed to win, and we've won 12. It's not a great record this season. Here's Henderson though, as we look to try and do something about it. Borthwick Jackson into the middle there. But Jonas chests it down, back wide for Borthwick Jackson, beats the man to it, races past the defender, whips it in, and it's so easy for the goalkeeper. It's a shocking delivery. He did everything right, but the final ball was terrible. The goalkeeper will take his time here before he launches it. One of the centre-backs has to command this. It's away by Wallace, but it's easy for Naismith. Heads it to Sibbald. No challenge from our midfielders who are static. Naismith takes a poor touch. Again, no challenge. O'Hara wide, running at Riedel. Destroys him, whips it in. No defending, and Alan Stott, the 18-year-old just off the bench, scores the goal, and we are being embarrassed now. Why are we incapable of putting together a run? Couldn't he win at home? Couldn't he win at Rugby Park? We barely managed to avoid defeat at Rugby Park with a late goal. And then we hammer Dundee, and you think that's us flying now. And then here, this. I mean, my God, what is this? Here they come again. O'Hara now can play it in behind for Stott again. Denswell will just about cut that out and thump it out of play into touch. That's a shocking decision as well, to just hammer that out of play there. Right, we need to press forward here now if we're to have any chance of getting back into this. We could get humiliated though. 3-1 down, and Falkirk obviously potent goal scorers over the top. Denswell cuts it out. Henderson, Jonas now. Right, get us one back into this and we'll start to believe at least. Cataldi now into Morelos. There's Houston. Go on, Morelos. Get on your bike here. Houston sends it back in. Morelos won't get there. Ralston clears. Jonas, Cataldi floats it off the bar. Morelos is asleep. The defender gets it away. It's actually a free kick. Is it offside? It is offside against Morelos. But at least it's something. It's a sign of encouragement. Borthwick Jackson to Henderson, who drifted wide over the top for Morelos. Great pass. Come on, Morelos. Show some composure. Morelos, it's an easy save for the keeper. He's hit it right at the keeper there, Morelos. Terrible. And after getting back into scoring form in our 6-0, Morelos today is limp and impotent once again. It's shocking. Falkirk have had 3 shots on target and scored every single one of them. Fair play to Falkirk on their finishing. And I don't think it's a coincidence that Andre Horta gets injured, has to go off, and then we seem unable to really create anything. Horta is a class above everybody else in this squad right now, and we're a lot further away from dominance than I thought we were. Last season gave us a false sense of security, I think, as Morelos is in and once again is only able to steer it right at the keeper. Cataldi, edge of the area, hammers one well wide. And it seems like we've got to worry about Falkirk catching us now rather than winning the league. 5 minutes left to go, and Houston is injured again. He's so fragile just now, Jordan Houston. It looks like it's a 3-1 defeat here at the hands of Falkirk. And without Sam Byram at right back, we've gone completely open there. Riedel totally incapable of filling in for him. Maybe we need to bring in a right back before the end of this transfer window here. We've got about £12 million or so to do that. Launched forward, Henderson nodding it down, but it's over now. Jonas giving it away to Ralston. With 15 seconds to go, somehow I don't see us scoring 2 goals. Falkirk could score again, mind you. Nah, it's headed away. And it is going to end 3-1 to Falkirk. Disappointing result, but what makes it even worse is the fact we were 1 up. And I've made an error in not going to the 3 at the back at that point and just trying to hold on to what we have. Not good enough, I'm afraid. We should have went to the 3 at the back. We should have brung on Jordan Houston as a wing back. And it's not good enough. 6 to 8 days now at minimum again before Houston's back. At least it's only 2-3 days for Horta. And I think we are going to go into the transfer window here. Transfer market, pardon me, for a right back. Let's look. What are we looking at just now? Listed right backs. Well, it's like I already had the idea in my head. Arnaud Sokwe, who was actually previously of Celtic, would be a good signing. How much is he costing? 525 is a bit steep. Bruno Gaspar's not bad either. He would cost us 2.2 is not bad. Nordi Mukiel, he's okay. James Tompkins is a bit old now, 32. Marvin Friedrich at Cologne. Nah, acceleration of 10 is not great. Patrick Herrmann is not a right back. You're not really either. What about this Patrick at Utrecht? Nah, he doesn't look up for it either. Tavernier, can bring Tavernier back. Sebastian Jung, 31-year-old German. He's actually not bad. I'll get a wee report on him. 575k is an okay price to play for him, I think. Morris Hirsch. Nah. Matthias Zimmerman was actually not a bad player. We look at him for 425k. Let's take out the transfer listed requirement now and just look at right backs. Milan Gajic would be a great one to get, but costs too much money, I suspect. Manuel Lazari at Spal, worth 17.5 million. There's no way we're going to be picking him up. Eric Dermott, Stuttgart. Nah. Trying to have a look at some people here. Todd Kane is okay. Don't think he's better than many of those players who are actually listed though. Tristan, pardon me, Decker is not a bad player, but 4.6 is pretty steep. What about Gaspar? Let's get a wee report on Gaspar. Pio Xavi, possibly. 23-year-old there, 3.5 million at Benevento. Let's just get a couple of reports in, and we'll see about maybe bringing somebody in before we play Celtic here. Of course, Byram will be back for the Celtic game. We're actually 4th in terms of our defensive performance this season. That is not good. Callum Gribben at West Ham now in the unders. So we'll look at him because I think he's a player with a lot of potential. We'll have a wee look at him, possibly bringing him in. I think Liam Henderson's kind of hit a bit of a ceiling just now. He's a decent player, but I think we need somebody with a bit more ability than him in the squad now. I think some of the players are at that kind of transition period where they're good enough, but they're not good enough for what we want going forward. We want more Andre Hortas in the squad and less Liam Hendersons. As harsh as that is on the boy, he always helped us get to the point where we're winning the title and expecting to win the title. We'll have a little look just now, see if any of those scout reports are in. Players scouted. Where are we? Scouted for transfer, days old, 1 day old, 2 days old. There you go. Sebastian Young, Zimmerman. Ramsalar's only a 70 rating. That's a bit strange. Moharamos, the goalkeeper, not bad, right. Cesar Mezeguir is a decent striker, but we already have enough of them. Bruno Gaspar, Pons, Rafael Oliveira, young regen. Left-sided player looks okay. I mean, none of these players look particularly great. What about Stuart Rice? Left back at Hamilton. He looks like he's got a lot of potential. Technically a bit weak though. Termination 20. £2 million is a bit steep though. We'll keep an eye on him though. Right, what do we do? Sebastian Young, for example, as a full, but apparently Manuel Riedel's the best right back. I don't think so somehow. Sebastian Young's pretty much about the same as Sam Byram. He'd be 575. Do you know what? Let's just bring him in. He's a decent bit of cover, I think. 575k is not much. We'll bring him in, maybe a 2-year contract. Christian 2's not a bad player. What I am going to do though, which I've actually, if I'm 100% honest, forgotten to do up to this point, is recall one of these young strikers. What one? probably Alberto Chiacheri. I'm going to recall him. Oh, I can't apparently. Oh, we're not in the transfer window yet. What am I talking about? I'm thinking it's January for some strange reason. Right, let's talk about 11.5 million on a 2-year deal. 12 million, 2-year deal, 1-year extension after 15 games in the last season. Fine, after 10 games. There we go, 12 grand a week. Not a bad deal, I think, for Sebastian Young. Hopefully he can come in time for that Celtic game to take his place on the bench. Podence wants to leave and join Chievo. If they come in with a decent enough bid, I suppose. I'll let you go providing they make a reasonable offer. Reasonable offer for me is about 8.5 million. He wants to be 4.75. You're worth 6.75, son. Come on now. 7.5. Nah, this is ridiculous. 7's our final offer. Totally unrealistic. No, thing is, why does he want to go for less than his value? It doesn't make any sense. Hopefully Cave will come in with a decent bid for him because he's moany, he's inconsistent, and he's on a massive wage. Basically everything that I don't like in a player. Where are we now? Mark Allen's contract's running out. We'll see if he gets a new deal or not. Sebastian Young is going to join us. That's fine. We need cover at right back. Obviously, what I learned from having Manuel Riedel fill that position in against Falkirk there. We need to win this Celtic game here. It's at Ibrox, so we do have a good chance being at home. But we definitely need to get the victory. I think we'll go with the 3 at the back. We were just far too open against Falkirk with the 4. Riedel and Gallagher training well at least. How much for Gallagher? Yeah, going up pretty well there. And Riedel still going really high. I mean, Riedel's such a good player, man. So glad we took the risk on him when we didn't see all of his stats. McGinn, player of the month. Interesting. Kenny Walder, young player of the month. Yeah, he looks decent. He's on loan from Celtic though, so we can't get him. And Odsonne Edouard and Shea Ojo are going to be leaving us now for Cardiff. Edward gets some of the sell-on fee, which ain't great. Murray Wallace doesn't like we've let him leave. He wasn't the only leader, he won't be missed that much, you're right. See, I don't like the amount that they moan. Shea Ojo sold for 7 million, is on 72 grand at Cardiff. That is insane. Well, I hope he does better for them than he did for us. Odsonne Edwards on 11.5 down at Birmingham. That's a fair price, I would say. Birmingham 14th in the Championship. I would say Odsonne Edwards good enough for that level. They've done a good bit of business there actually getting him. Does mean we now don't have a big man to throw up front and launch long balls to. Borthwick Jackson offers 6.5 million. Absolutely no way. He's the only good left back we have. That is not a good enough fee for us to let him go. I wonder, do we start Morelos or do we start Alberto Chiacheri when we take on Celtic? Assuming we can recall him on time and play him on time. Mebudi playing well, good for him. Leandro Letiri not playing that well, which is a shame. Hopefully he continues to get game time and develop though. He'll be a big player for us next season, I think. Everton keen on Borthwick. That did not just say that Celtic are looking at Berardi. It did. Celtic are looking at Domenico Berardi. That is insane. Let's us scout him as well. If he's going, then I'm definitely interested in getting him. Sebastian Young has signed. Good for him. Let's look at the report. Yeah, he's pretty much just a little bit behind Byram. That's good news. A decent player to get in as cover. Happy with our business there. Alex Donald going down to Cove Rangers. 16-year-old going down for some first team football. That's pretty good. That'll serve him well. And Cataldi and Horta are capable of playing Celtic here. We're not going to be able to recall Chiacheri in time, unfortunately. Byram can come onto the bench. Obviously can go on there for Riedel. In fact, do you know what we'll do? We'll clear the squad here. We need to look at this with some fresh eyes. Play the 3 at the back. Ian Fulton, of course, the goalkeeper. Riedel as the covering defender, Denswell the ball player, and Murray Wallace will provide some solidity there as well. Jordan Houston will be our wing back. Cameron Borthwick-Jackson will be on the other side. In the centre of midfield here, it will be McGinn and Cataldi together. Any of them prefer a side? Nope. Then in front of them, it will be Andre Horta and Liam Henderson. And the striker will be Morelos, who better do the business today. McCrory, Fernandez, Byram, Mitchell, Burjonas, Afif, and Gallagher will be the bench. So no natural striker on the bench. Morelos better not pick up an injury here. Time to go. They need to get the job done here. 4-2-3-1 from Celtic, playing Armstrong in there as like a false 9 it looks like. James Milner at right back, possibly a weakness there. I know you're keen to avenge what happened last time we played Celtic. Of course, we got a draw against them earlier this season at Parkhead. And then we went out to them in the Cup at Hampden on penalties, I believe that was. So we need to avenge that today with a win here at Ibrox. We need to close the gap as well. They're currently 4 clear of us in the league. After we absolutely romped the title last season, we're now 4 behind going into the January window with 20 games played, so we have to beat them here. Cataldi picks up a knock, of course he does. But Jonas can just come on and slip right in there. That's an early substitution wasted though. Good first 15 minutes. We've had all the shots. We've had a lot of the possession here. 20 minutes gone. 3 shots to their 0. Tom Rogic is injured now as well for them. And Houston will be taking a throw for ourselves. Into Andre Horta. Lovely touch. Play it back to Houston now. Get on your bike, son. Should have been bombing forward there, Houston. Horta to Henderson. Back to Houston. Right, run at them. Or, oh, he dinks it for Henderson. It's a good idea, but Vitor can cover that easy. Henderson will pinch it though. Oh, and then fail to get it in. Vitor covers it. Deflecting around. It's a mess at the back there, and we're not able to take advantage. Tielemans gives it away and fortuitously breaks to Alejandro Gomez. Armstrong now. Gomez. Tielemans. And Celtic have finally got it under control. Rogic. Over the top, Alejandro Gomez, ancient Alejandro Gomez, has the legs on our player, crosses low, deflects, own goal. Shocking goal to lose, absolutely shocking. We're 1-0 down to a team who's not had a shot. And in terms of things being harsh, they've yet to have a shot and they're 1 up. Gomez whips it, Armstrong nods it just over. That's poor. Here we go. A chance to get back in it though. Horta delivers. Good cross, Morelos. That is shocking, man. And that just sums up Morelos' form at the minute. About 6 yards out and he nods it into row Z near enough. Terrible effort. Right, come on. We need to grab an equaliser here. They have been awful in this first half and they're somehow beating us with a lucky deflection off a cross. Denswell, oh son, what is that? Gives it right to Atsu. Here's the break on for Celtic now. Borthwick-Jackson gets back, but his tackle will play an Armstrong. 1-on-1. Can he keep his head? No. Ian Fulton makes a save. But we are an absolute mess. I really fear for us. Oh, Nirbiton's off. We need to win this now. Celtic at Ibrox, down to 10 men. We need to win. Houston, right, come on. Get the equaliser quickly before half time and just put the fear into them. Horta whips it. Henderson arrives, heads it over again. Our accuracy with our heading is just abysmal. 6 shots, we've only hit the target with 1 of them. Once again, Morelos has been piss poor. Hopefully, with them being down to 10 men, we should create more and more chances. We're just going to leave it as is. Tell them, of course, to push forward now. As Veergiver finds Atsu now. Tielemans, can we pinch it here? Nah, we're not going to pinch it and get a quick chance. We'll leave it to 60 minutes before we think about changing this. We're creating not a thing against 10. Oh, here we go now. Horta with a free kick. Cuts it back. Interesting choice. Henderson. Find a pass. Out to McGinn. Trying to find room in the edge of the box, all the way back to Borthwick Jackson. For him a chance to whip it in, it's went all the way back to Borthwick Jackson on the halfway line. Dumps it down the line. Murray Wallace, the big centre-back, trying to find a cross. Cuts it back to Barjonas. Find a way through here. Horta, space to hit one. Hits one, and it's over again. Honestly, you would think we weren't trying to get it underneath the bar. Stefano Denswell will come off for Sam Byram. Houston will play as a winger. Horta will be wide left. Henderson in behind Morelos, and we'll go to that shape now. It's overload time already. Hopefully we get a goal here, but we still need to overload to try and win. Wallace, Barjonas, McGinn. Henderson losing it to Trezeguet. Don't you dare let 10 men counter you. Barjonas finds it back. Horta. Morelos run them wide. Plays it to Borthwick Jackson. Can he find a cross? Whips in, not a bad one. McGinn down. Barjonas. Oh, look, it's over again. Demand more here as Lee Griffiths comes on for Armstrong. It's flicked on. McGinn is in. McGinn shoots. That is a sitter from McGinn. And you talk about accuracy here. My God. Horta's going to go more central now. We're going to bring on a Fief to try and have a run at them wide. And here's Griffiths. Oh, I knew that was coming. Somehow I just knew it. Murray Wallace is off now with a 2-footer on Griffiths. There goes our chance to win. Right, Borthwick Jackson can come in. So can Byram, I suppose. Byram actually can't be a centre-back. But we have to try something. We still have to go overload. A Fief on for Henderson. We have to do it. We're getting beat here at home. This will be a 7-point gap now. They've had 2 shots. We've had 11. And we're getting beat. Vitor's poor touch won't be closed down quickly enough. He lops it forward. Gomez plays in Griffiths for the death blow. And he's blazed it over as well. He's obviously been watching our finishing. 10 minutes left. 10 men plays 10 men here. But we had almost a half an hour spell against 10 where we couldn't create the goal. And here's Atsu. Slices it. Gomez is still going to get it though. No pressure on him. Can whip it. He angles it in and Fulton fumbles it. Vitor picks it up. He's got Atsu there, edge of the box. It'll go back to Atsu. He can thunder this one in. He does, and it's well wide. But that'll be it. 3 added on minutes. I don't see us creating anything else here. We've lost at Ibrox to Celtic. This is a terrible episode. It really is. This is honestly the most disheartened I've felt about this team in a while. I thought we'd made progress. I thought we were the dominant side in Scotland. And now we're 7 points off the pace. Losing at home to 10 men. Shocking. Absolutely shocking. We had triple the number of shots they had. We had quadruple the number on target. And we've got beat. And Andre Horta must be wondering what kind of mugs he's playing with here. It's a 2-week fine for Wallace. And he accepts it. Good. As he should. Well, we've got a 2-week break now. Abysmal. We played the team just below us in 3rd. They beat us. We played the team just above us in 1st. They beat us. Not good, man. Really not good. It's all very well and good playing fantastically in the Champions League, going through top of the group, drawing Benfica, maybe having hopes of the quarter-final, but if we piss the title away, it's not worth it. We really need to do something in the transfer market. The next episode will be one of our transfer episodes. We need to do something. Just bringing Lethierry or something back is no good enough. We need to improve the quality of this team. Some of the players who, for sentimental reasons, have been kept around need to go. Afif needs to go. He's no good enough. 5.5 million he's worth. He's 2.5 stars. He's not a good enough player. He played so well 2 seasons there, you know, when we won the title those 2 years. But he's just no good enough. He needs to go, and we need a better left-sided player there. Liam Henderson's still good enough just now. He's a good player. John McGinn likewise to Henderson. Cataldi I still like. Still think Cataldi's a good enough player, but a lot of them are off the place. Morelos, for example. Now, Morelos has got 23 goals this season, so probably being a little bit harsh in suggesting that he's not up to scratch, but he's just so inconsistent, it's unreal. Bednarchek actually needs to go now. It's not worked for him. Let's transfer list him. Get him on the list. Yeah, guys like Gallagher, for example, he needs to go out on loan. He's not good enough to come in and play any games. Dimitri Mitchell needs to go as well. He's not good enough. Let's get him transfer listed. Ivanildo Fernandez, likewise, 2.5 star, not good enough. Get him listed. We need to improve this team now. This is a big, big window for us. Hopefully we get a bid in from Kievo for Podence as well. We need to really do some reshaping now. 7 points behind. We've got a challenge to beat Celtic now to the title. Hopefully it's a challenge we can be up for. But yeah, it's a really disheartening episode, honestly, it really is. I hope you guys are enjoying following the team at the very least. We're getting setbacks. If nothing else, it provides a little bit of realism, I suppose. It is, as much as I'm feeling really gutted about how this episode's went now, it at least is encouraging for the quality of the game that Celtic are pushing us this season, because we absolutely hammered them last season to the title. So it's nice that it's not just going to be a cakewalk every year. But the way we're playing just now is honestly unforgivable. Listen, if you guys are enjoying following the series, please do leave a like on the video. Over this, it's been a really disappointing episode, but as I say, I do appreciate the likes on the videos. Of course, to follow this season, which now is going to be an exciting season, if nothing else, you can subscribe to the channel, which I'd be grateful for. But mostly, thank you guys for watching, even though it has been a difficult watch this time. And I'll see you next time for some transfer action.